to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message, hit the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try and force in some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and I am your host for this lovely evening. It is episode number 299. We are fresh out of Cincinnati, Ohio, as we've come back from the All-Mid Collegiate Invitational this last weekend. And we're ready to talk about listener questions and anything we've noticed from patch 5.19, and also talk a little bit about All-Mid with you guys. So I am joined by three great, I can't say guys right now. I'm back to that problem
you
with
had
days.
A few weeks where you had like just guys.
Yeah.
The long lost Days Untold has returned.
Yeah.
Professionals, maybe?
Okay, professionals is good. Professionals is good. Yeah. Like, I'm joined by three professionals. That doesn't sound right. No, hold on.
Yeah, no, it
Wonderful
doesn't sound
human beings.
We're certainly
Great
not
people.
professionals either.
Guys, Days is back with us.
Hey.
If you are subscribed to our Patreon over at patreon.com/TForce Network, you will have still heard her voice for the last couple months, as she has been focusing very heavily on the Champion Select podcast, and she's going to continue focusing on that. But she's also promised us that she will continue to come back on Trinity Force every single week from this point forward. Well, up until the baby is born, and then a little bit time off, right?
And if
Yeah.
she doesn't
Hooray.
tweet her
I'm
mean
excited to be
things.
back. Right. Yeah. I hope everyone listened to the Callisto one. That was a lot of fun. So
I haven't
that
made
was
it
one of
around
the
to
best
it
we've
yet.
done so far.
Well, it was Callista Mordekaiser, right?
Right. Yeah. You got like a bonus episode because we took a little bit to get it out, but
Callista Kaiser,
it's
I
fun.
like it.
What is going on with your hair? I feel like you shaved the sides off of Conan O'Brien's hair
Yeah,
and stuck it on your head.
He slicked it this weekend and it looked much better. He before the show, for anybody who's watching it live, he's like, "Man, I should really put some product in my hair," and that is 100% correct.
Yeah, it looks way better when I actually have product in it, because it's like so long on the top, but the sides are like, it's a zero on the sides, I think, is what she does.
It looks like a zero.
Yeah, I have her take the sides all the way down, and then for those of you not seen a picture of me, my hair, I have a lot of hair on the top of my head, and I have the sides shaved down to a zero. I have like the quintessential like hipster type of haircut without the beard.
Punk.
This
Very
became
punkish.
the Adam's haircut episode.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Really quick.
Well, yeah, like you said, this weekend. Chira and Punch are here. You've heard their voices. I don't have to introduce them.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
Chira and Punch were with me this weekend, along with how many other people did we have?
Bunch of them.
We had
I think
10
there
total?
was 10 or 12 of us total.
It was like half of the people from the D&D group. Me, Punch, you, Chris Alphanar,
My girlfriend, your girlfriend.
your girlfriend, my girlfriend. There was a lot of people there. Black Hawk, Lashak, Karnas,
Santana, Josh, Rex.
Gosh, right. All the beautiful bastards that came and hung out with us. It was great. And all the people that came from far off lands to hang out with us.
Right. Yeah, if you are
Wonderful.
listening to our podcast the very first time because of All Mid, welcome. We're going to get in. We're just kind of wrapping up and telling people out there why they should have
We're
attended All Mid.
decompressing.
Yeah, I will say this is the very first convention I have ever worked or staffed, or I just not necessarily staffed, but I've worked and had to do a booth, and I have never been so fucking exhausted in years. I haven't been that exhausted in probably a couple years, like since the last time I did like MMA, right, and worked and like did a hardcore workout. Because we were sitting down at the end of the night. It was 9:30 on Saturday. We were all sitting at Buffalo Wings and Rings. And we all had a beer and we were eating. And by the time I got done, I was sitting there with my hand in my face, literally
Basically
going,
fell
"Oh
asleep
my
at the
god,"
table.
falling
Yep.
asleep.
And then we
Still
went
gotta
out.
run, guys.
Yeah, and then we went out and drank with our friends.
Like, oh, we still gotta go out.
Yeah.
Mother of God.
Thank God they only close at midnight, or we would have been there forever.
We don't fall
All right,
asleep at the table.
to put things into perspective, I stayed the night with Punch at Adam's place on Friday. Well, Chris
Yeah.
was there too. And then Adam, like what? Go to sleep around like 3, and then
We got up at like 1. We went to bed at like 1:32.
And you woke me up at 6 and you're like, let's get coffee. And I'm like, nope. And then I got up anyway.
Well, because we had to be at the convention center by 9, and everyone had to have their time to do their stuff.
Yeah.
It was like 6:30. I walked out there. I'm like, "You awake?" No.
And then we were getting people to do some audio recording. At the
Yeah.
booth.
So if you guys hadn't come down to All Mid, what we did is we set up. Please go to twitter.com/T-Force Network or facebook.com/T-Force Podcast to check out. We have a bunch of pictures up there of like what the booth and everything looked like. It was your normal 8x, not 8x8, like 8x3 table or whatever it is, 8x4 table. And we put a tablecloth over it, and we had a computer set up with a microphone, and the contest, if you didn't see that picture, was walk up here and do an intro for the podcast. And I had my MacBook out with a intro on it. We had people walk up, give us their email address, and then they had to do their intro, and some people got some like really into it. We had one guy record it in German.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
He translated the whole thing into German. He's like, I'll just do this.
Yeah, and we had some other people, like we told him, he said, you can do your own. And Shira would get up there and like show them how to do it and whatever. And like some people would like write it down and like take their time and try to figure out what they wanted to do and then come back later. And other people would just get up there and be like, hi, welcome to the Trinity.
And some people who winged it did a great job. Other people like took a minute to figure out what they wanted to do. Some people just read off kind of the script that we had going. But I mean, for the most part, they were all really good.
That was a lot of fun.
We're going to have to sift through all of those and figure out a winner.
On the docket for me for tomorrow, which is Tuesday. For
I was about to say, you have the week
podcast.
off, so you're going to be looking through all of them and picking a winner.
I kind of took the day off today to decompress after it all was and play some League and just kind of take it easy. But tomorrow,
Take a vacation from your vacations.
yeah, pretty much exactly. Have an actual vacation day, because tomorrow I have to go through all the new websites out. TrinityForceNetwork.com. Go check it out. This is like version 1 of the new site. We're working on version 1.5 and version 2 based on your feedback, because there's a lot of things that do need to change on it to make it better. But it's like way more user friendly than it was previously. So it's one step at a time.
In other words, go to the website and try and break it, please, and then let us know what's broken.
Email us, feedback@TrinityForcePodcast.com. No, I have the camera because we did 3 interviews at the end with Stelany, Chris, and Albert. Not Robert.
Yes, Albert.
Yeah.
And he was doing most of the tournament stuff.
He was the event coordinator.
Organizing all of those.
Right. Yeah. Albert was event coordinator. Chris being the CO or the chief operation officer, COO, and whatever, and Stelany being the she was really like the MC of the tournament that day.
Yeah, she ran all of the vocal stuff. Announced everything wonderfully.
Mm-hmm. And way too upbeat for my cause.
And ran around like a crazy person the whole time. It was great. Like, I don't know how she had that much energy when I was dragging by the end of day 1.
Well, we were talking about it. So we've learned a lot of things. We're going to make like a tournament survival guide or like a survival guide, because right now we're talking about trying to make it out to PAX East and potentially having a booth out there. And that's like a 5-day thing for us to get the booth, because it's
I want to go to that one.
Days. You're coming. I'm going to try to get everybody there. Like,
bring
seriously.
the baby and dress him up as Timo or something. It'd be great.
God.
Put him as Magikarp, like right out in front of the booth.
The last thing that we want is like a 3-month-old just crying for 8 hours a day. No, he can stay home.
That we want.
And getting the PAX flu.
Yeah, getting the PAX flu.
PAX Pox or whatever the hell they call it.
And in hindsight, in foresight, that's not a great idea to bring the baby.
But yeah, the PAX would be a 5-day thing for us, because we'd have to get down there a day early. We'd have to get down there 2 days early, essentially. The day before, you go set up the booth, and then you work for 3 days, and then tear down the booth on the last day, and then fly back home. So that'd be fun.
That's the plan.
Aren't you guys looking? But yeah, anyway, sorry, we're kind of wrapping up. We're wrapping it up, having fun here. But we've learned a lot from this too, and if you guys didn't come down and check us out, you should have, because we were wearing Trinity Force t-shirts. We had polo shirts with the logo on it. We were excited and talking about giving away Trinity Force Network buttons. We had a lot of people that were really interested, and it's just a really fun time, because they also had open tournaments like an Aram, a 1v1, Hearthstone, Smash, and all those sorts of League of Legends. Yeah,
right.
And you guys
could giveaways. Some
giveaways.
weird games where
like Ninja and stuff.
Stelany would just say, "All right, the first 16 people to run over to me gets to participate in this next event."
There was a rock, paper, scissors tournament, and Santana and Blackhawk, while they were walking by, were basically casting it to just me. It was great. I really wish they had gotten to it sooner and like gotten really serious because their casting was wonderful. It was wonderful.
We should have ran the camera over there and had them like standing down like next to each other, like kind of like hunched over, like into the. It
would have been great.
And do it like it would have been great. God, I just thought that would have been hilarious.
Well, there's always next time.
Yeah, that's right. We're already talking about going next time. I guess they're talking about doing like an esports summit or something here in the next couple months where people can go and learn how to not only manage their League of Legends team, but turn their passion project into something larger.
Right.
This is the best way to explain it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And if you didn't make it down here to Cincinnati, Ohio to check us out, there's going to be other conventions where the Trinity Force Network is attending. We're already talking about coming out to PAX South. Whoever we can send out there. We might not necessarily have a booth, but we'll be doing interviews and walking around. When I say we, I mean somebody from the network or some group of people from the network will be out there. So if you're at PAX South, you can go by and say hi and talk to people and learn all about it. PAX East is on the docket, and we have, I think there's one other tournament somewhere or something in between there that we were going to go to or try to set up. It's crazy. But, that's kind of like the wrap up of all mid. We had a lot of fun, right?
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, I got home last night and went to bed at like 8 o'clock, and I swear I closed my eyes and then woke up and had to get ready for work.
Same here. And we didn't even talk about how successful the D&D was.
Yeah.
They had 30 pre-made characters, and they had 27 people the first day. They weren't expecting to use all those characters. They were hoping for like 6 people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
they blew it away.
Just got blown out of the water.
Right.
A lot of people were interested in that.
A little bit more advertising, and they wouldn't have known what to do with that many people.
Right. Mm-hmm. We had talked about it was funny because a lot of people come up to the booth. So what All Mid did is they made you have a passport. When you came in, you got a piece of paper, and you had to go to each booth and get a stamp, and then you could turn that piece of paper in to have a chance to win a loot crate. And so it forced people to come to our booth, which was awesome because now people have to come and talk to us, right? Because we were just kind of like we were kind of like shoved off in a corner while everyone else was playing.
Did you hold the stamp for ransom?
Yes, I did actually.
We yeah. It was great.
The people like, can we have a stamp? I was like, not until you hear my spiel.
It was also really interesting too, because if people came and they weren't League players or they didn't really play some of the games, like a couple Smash people came up, but it was funny how interested people were in D&D, and they're like, hey, you should go upstairs and check it out. And they're like, oh, well, I don't have time to make a character. It's like, no, we have pre-made ones for you. You have no excuses. Go up there and try it. And
there were a lot of people that are interested that didn't even play it before.
Right.
So, yeah, if they so if they didn't play any of the games, if they didn't play League of Legends or Hearthstone, and then we get to D&D, and they're like, yeah, I've always wanted to try that. And I think that was probably the biggest draw for D&D, was that you actually could try it out right now. So we could do that.
And a lot of people did, too. A lot of people had fun about it. If you guys want to play D&D, by the way, the T-Force RPG group is available. All that information is available on TrinityForceNetwork.com. Just click on Tabletop Games and then click on About at top. I've pretty much copied and pasted what was on the subreddit there. And pretty much same for the thing in League of Legends, but we're going to spruce it up with like the sign-up sheet and all that, and all the information you need to just get into a game and play is all there. So at least you have that going for you with the tabletop RPG stuff. But yeah, that's all live. I was about to say, everyone that came up there, if they didn't play Hearthstone or play League, they were interested in Dungeons and Dragons. So it was really cool to have something. I felt like we had something to offer just about everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
So big community. Go and jump in, use our TeamSpeak, and have fun.
Not to mention the event itself was crazy successful in that they basically doubled the amount of people they thought were going to show up.
800 or 750 to 800 people showed up. They ran out of loot crates within the first 2 hours of the place.
They broke the internet 3 times while they were there.
Yeah, and at UC, that I was talking to my girlfriend after it because she went to UC. She said the problem with UC and a lot of those colleges is they try to save face, so they don't want you to do a lot of stuff. And that's why they never got to dry run the stream and whatnot. So if you tried to watch the stream this week, and they do apologize if it was a little wonky, because the UC wouldn't let them get in there and like test the stuff. I guess if you were watching the stream this week, and what they had to do was they had to convert the stream 3 times through 3 different channels, like VGA, DVI, HDMI, like 3 different types of signals, and then push it out to a local cable channel and display that local cable channel on the monitor in the gym. So anybody within like a 2-mile radius could have watched League of Legends be played via All Mid if they had like one of those cable tuner boxes. That's how crazy it was there. Makes you go, wow.
Really?
Yep. They had to convert it 3 times and push it out to local cable channel. But yeah, that's all mid. That's what we just kind of wanted to wrap up and talk about it and give you guys an idea what we were doing and why. Because there's a lot of awesome pictures. We put out a lot of stuff, and we had talked about what we're using your money for. We used it this weekend to try to push the brand out and get it out to more people. And I knew I had something else I want to talk about. It was the live podcast, guys. Honestly, I wish we could live podcast all the time like we did. For those of you
Adam
out there,
smacked me in the head. It was great. You missed
you'll
see it eventually.
I made a Punchinello joke. It was awesome.
It was bad. Don't listen to that one.
Yeah, that was the worst part.
From your memory.
You should probably just turn it. It just goes downhill after that.
It was such a good joke.
I will say though, Adam, when you smacked me, I did consider beating you to death on stream.
But yeah, we did a live podcast at All Mid in their Red Bull lounge. It was overlooking the arena, and we all sat around a table and talked about mindfulness as it pertains to video games, but it was mostly the League of Legends. And it was Chris, Punch, Chira, and myself that all sat there, and it was fun to be able to do the podcast live and sit in the same, like, essentially studio, we'll call it, because I felt like I had a more organic experience to be able to talk to you guys, and plus I could like look over at Chira and just kind of like smirk.
I will say though, it was a little weird and like looking at you guys instead of either looking at a screen or the camera, because I didn't know whether, hey, I should have a conversation right there with you while I'm talking to you, or try and actually like project toward the camera or whatever. So
I think you're technically supposed to have a conversation with each other and then kind
I
of
don't
think
it
interact
matters,
with the camera.
but I don't know.
Yeah, I had the same question. It did feel pretty natural, though.
Yeah,
I was surprised at how easy it was. But yeah, I mean, I also was wondering at the same time, should I be looking at the camera and the audience there, or? But you know,
I will say
I was too compelled to actually have the conversation.
It was super helpful if I was like resting my hand on my chin and Kayla's staring across at me, like telling me to stop. So I'm paying attention to her and like, why aren't you can just text me? I can look down. It's not that big a deal. But she's trying to motion things, or when the battery to the camera almost died, that was kind of great.
Yeah, they're like looking up. They're like, the battery's dying.
They're like saying words, and I don't know what's going on.
Dude, I'll say it again. I said it 3 times that day. I was about 30 minutes in. I stared riding the struggle bus real hard during that live podcast.
If it wasn't for the free Red Bull in that room, I don't know what I would have done.
Well, we did learn a valuable lesson with this live stuff, though, is that we're not allowed to work all day, like work really hard, and then have to go do a live podcast at 5 o'clock at night.
Right. We'll do the live part earlier if we
can. At like 11 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. That makes me hopeful that for that one day that I can get a studio or something, and we can all jump in and record it and have fun, like a radio show type of thing. That's years down the line goal, guys.
Nobody wants to relocate to Kentucky.
We're not doing Kentucky.
That's on nobody's wish
He'd
list.
have to come up to me because fuck knows if I'll travel down there again.
I'm relocating everybody to California.
All right. We'll just move into a 1-bedroom apartment altogether because that's all we can afford. It's a studio that all of us are living in.
Oh,
you know what? We're going to basically be living the Korean player dream doing that. And there's going to be a bunch of babies probably
instead
in that
of
room.
Right, so you got like DeClaude's 2, you got Adam's 2, you got my 3, then you have Chris has 2.
Yeah, there's going to be more people in that room than we know what to do with.
Scooch over. You need to share the bed.
Babysit.
No.
A full-time job.
While his dog just like tries to harass everybody.
The dog can take care of the kids. She loves kids.
Yeah, so does Sarah's.
Also found out Adam's cat, when you're trying to sleep, if you move your hand across whatever you're sleeping on at all, it does not matter where that cat is at. It knows that you're moving a little bit and jumps off of any surface in the room to find you.
It was a kitty missile.
Yes, it was a cat missile, straight up. It was great.
This little like 4 or 5 month old kitten that just harasses you while you sleep.
It's Hypercat. That's all it is.
Hypercat X. Can we sell that to HyperX? Like have like a Hypercat X?
HyperCat. HyperX 2.0 Hypercat.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, that's pretty much. I'm going to wrap that up here because I want to talk about some League of Legends questions and stuff and kind of give you guys an idea of some of the questions we heard this weekend, plus some things that have been sent to us via the email. If you'd like to send to us, feedback at trinityforcepodcast.com. And also, please send us some feedback on the new website, like constructive feedback only. Please, I don't if you think it looks like shit, tell me why and how you would fix it.
Yeah.
Don't just say it looks like shit.
Right. I mean, you're allowed to say that, but give a reason.
Right.
An actual reason, not just because I don't like it.
And if you don't like something and you don't know how, like, you don't know how you would want it to look necessarily, like, at least explain in detail why there's an issue with something or why the functionality of something doesn't work. Or
I do know that the mobile site does not work and the website does not work on mobile right now, because that's not something we forgot to test, but we sacrificed mobile to get the site out there while we work on the mobile version of the site. How does that make sense? We're working on it. Like I said, version 1.5. I say a lot of things. I promise a lot of things, but when I say this one, I mean it. Once the website got pushed out, all the changes are going to be pushed out rather rapidly behind it. It was just getting to that initial point where it could be pushed that took the longest, because like CSS changes and whatnot are pretty easy to do. So anyway, that's it. Let's move in and talk about some League of Legends stuff, shall we, guys?
Let's do it.
Shall we, professionals?
Yeah, of course.
Oh gosh.
Are we going to jump right into the question that we didn't finish all the way?
I don't know which one that was.
That is Mr. Williams' question, I believe.
Was it?
We already took one off of there. It's down to two.
Did we take the first one off?
I think. I don't remember. Yep, definitely.
So
the first one's there, but we definitely already did that one. So we're on the two.
This is great podcasting material.
That's what happens
when we're not really prepared.
No, this is what happens when we only do one part of a 4-part question.
Oh, right. All right. Well, let's move on and talk about the next question. So William wrote in and he says, "How do you condition yourself to stop being toxic? Again, particularly in relation to ranked. I know the mute button exists and I oftentimes use it, but I feel like I may lose information by muting teammates. But it's still in an internet community and people have the overwhelming ability to grind my gears."
This is actually something we touched on the live episode.
Yes,
My goodness.
So maybe we should tell you that you should wait and listen to episode 299.5, because you get 3 episodes this week. Ooh, spoiler
We can
alert.
touch on this too.
I suppose.
Okay, so I think the first step to this is reducing the amount of triggers, and that would be removing all chat, which Pone has done in the past. You bring up.
Pone swears by it.
William brings up muting teammates, which I definitely agree with. I would give your teammates 1, maybe 2 chances before you mute them.
Yep.
Because as he points out, you risk losing information. But at the same time, I don't put a lot of stock into that. I wouldn't worry about it too much, because if somebody's pissing you off, if somebody's being toxic, chances are they're not providing useful information.
Right. That's exactly
They're
correct.
just doing more harm than good. So
and the other thing
don't
is,
be afraid to mute them.
If they give you one good piece of information for the 5 things that you read that crush your soul, it's still not worth it. So just mute them and be done with them.
I get in games and I immediately mute everybody now. Anyone who's watched me stream, I just go down and I click and I mute everybody, because honestly, for the next like 20 games, keep an honest tally of every time that someone gave you either a flash timer or a ward timer or something actually useful other than a good job or a nice job. Like, those things are nice, but they're not going to help you win a game. And keep track of like how many times people say shit like GG, first blood, what, ... Like, honestly, you don't lose that much information. I call out timers all the time. Like, I'm actually pretty decent at calling out timers. My junglers don't work around them. I don't have people in Plat 1 coming and ganking my lane because someone's flash is down. Mm-hmm. So I would challenge you, like, if you're unless you're like at a Masters or Challenger level, to be completely honest with you, there's probably not a lot of information that you're getting from people giving you information in chat. But you're much more likely to get like on tilt or get upset. If you're someone that does get tilted, then you're much more likely to be affected by the negative than you are the 1 or 2 times that something good happens and you get the good timer call or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think most of the information actually comes from pings, which you still get after muting. I mean, a lot of people just communicate through pings and don't even type anything.
I am one of the things that I did, because I used to go on tilt really bad, is I made my mini map as big as it could get, and then made my chat as small as I absolutely could, and I moved my chat so that it wasn't in my like field of view. Because if you hit enter and then you go on the top, the bar, you can actually move it to wherever you want on your screen. So I moved it, and it's really small, so I have to actually actively look at it. And the other thing you can do if you are someone who's really, really toxic and you tend to say things, because it sounds like you might have trouble not replying to other people, you can actually email support and ask for a chat restriction where you're allowed to only type so many times during the game, and they will do it for you. Like, it won't count against your rewards or anything.
I thought that was a farce. Like, that wasn't true that they would actually do that for you.
Riot Light said that they get requests for that all the time. So the worst thing you can do is email them and they can say no. But I know that he's addressed that people ask for it quite often. So you can always try doing that, or you can just try to limit yourself. Like, okay, I can only type 5 times this game, or I can only type 10 times this game. Do I really want to waste it on this?
It does take practice to limit yourself like that. But it really does work. You have to have the willpower to stop yourself from going crazy. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's just no special pill that's going to condition you. You just have to learn what is your trigger and then try to adapt.
Well, it's focusing on it consistently, because the more that like you're mindful of what's going on and you try and at least change some of your behavior, if you keep at it, it'll stick eventually. But most people, like, they'll be like, I want to change something, but they only actively try to do it like once or twice and then just fall back into the same habit. So again, consistency is what's going to make actual change.
Well, if you want something that you can do besides muting, why don't you start keeping a list right next to your desk or in a spreadsheet, whatever it is, with pre and post game mindset. Write your mindset as you went into the game, and it can be as simple as I feel happy, or as complex as I'm feeling a little bit tilted right now, but I've picked this lane because I feel comfortable doing this, and I feel like I'm going to be able, you can go and get a little bit more in depth, however you think it'll help you the most. And then write your post-game mindset. As soon as you get out of the game, what's your post-game mindset? Is it, I'm happy because we won the game, or is it, I'm sad because this and this happened? You'll start noticing a trend in what you're writing down and how you're writing it, because I bet you will start writing more about the negative than the positive, and then you can try to deduct what happened in those negative games that you can control, and that might start changing your mindset going in and out of games and how you deal with what set you off. Because if you're angry at the end of the game, you might realize that somebody said something in game to you, and it might just be as easy as muting them. That fixes that.
And if you do start doing a spreadsheet or a notebook or something, write on there things that you did well in the game as well. So write your mindset before, write your mindset after, and then write down like 2 things that you did well throughout the game, so that even if you lost, okay, it wasn't all negative. These are 2 things that I did well. And then your next game, you can set a goal for whatever you needed to work on. But that way, when you look back and you see, man, I got rage on. This was a terrible game. We lost 0 to 40 kills. At least you have something like, okay, my wording was great and I peeled well or something, so that it changes your mindset over time, so that you think more positively even about the games that you lose.
Except when you're like me and you go 0 and 8. And the very first day you come back to play solo queue. And then you're salty and everybody knows about it.
All day.
God,
it was a practice game.
That was the first thing Adam
I did
told
do
me
a practice
when we
game.
talked.
Oh, okay, good.
I did a practice game.
0 and 8 after the practice game?
Yes, I won my first practice game, hand down. I dominated it. But you know what's funny? It's not funny. It's that I realized that the practice game wasn't really a practice game because I was playing with people of wild elos. I had a silver guy in my game, and I think I was the highest. I just queued up for a normal draft and just played it out of top lane, and just I went 3-0 in the first 5 minutes against my lane partner. I obviously outskilled the guy, and that doesn't help you going into rank, because then you're overconfident a little bit. Like, man, I just did really well with this champion. And then you go 1-7 as Volibear
in a little bit, and that Thresh that's been throwing hooks and only landed 1 in 8 tilts you, because it's not his fault that you died, but you still died.
It's his fault for landing the hook when he's bad at landing hooks.
That's not the argument you made the other day.
I don't.
I'm pretty sure someone missed a flash hook on a stunned target.
Oh my god! I don't know. Stop! You're gonna kill me. Oh, it was the what was it? He was red side, the the banana bush that you walk in to go to blue. He was right next to his tower in that little hallway, and I flashed over the wall and I threw my hook at the stun target. And here's the target, here's my hook, like that. It like grazed his asshole and didn't clip onto him. Any other time in lane, Thresh's hook would have like gone 90 degrees and grabbed onto him and pulled him in, but not this time.
The conspiracy, right?
Riot,
Like
please
Adam.
fix your bug back to bug status. Thanks.
Right.
And then Vol was like, wow, NA hooks. Like, God damn it. I just want to say, though, by the end of that game, I was landing every hook, and I was landing the important hooks.
I'm sure you were, buddy.
Because I have Volv in my ear going, wow, you're bad. I'm like, God damn it, shut up. I've landed this one.
Oh, and the
man.
other thing, guys, if you're going to mute people, you don't have to, like, permanently mute everybody. You can start by muting people just to get your mind away from focusing on the chat, because a lot of times if you are so used to saying negative things in chat, you'll look for them. Like, I'll mute people, and then my duo will say something. I'll be like, what did he say? Did he say shit? Is he talking crap? So you just gotta, like... And once you get away from all that stuff and you get away from watching the chat and looking for negativity, then when you turn it back on, you won't focus on it as much either. So you can, it's not like a permanent thing where if you mute everybody now, you have to mute them forever.
Sorry, there's like a shit show going on upstairs. I hear like wild crying and stomping and like yelling. There's something going on up there, and it's interesting, and I have to listen to it.
It's a madhouse.
Did you guys hear
Sure,
that?
the animals are
Lancefer's
running
gonna
around.
love us between the two of us, our audio
Right.
today.
Can you hear that?
No.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
probably
That's
for the
probably
best.
good. It's probably a good thing. It's
Like,
bad.
it's probably not
Wow.
a bad thing that I don't hear it.
All right. Well, William, his last question was, can you suggest a champion to use in the current patch that is good on the solo queue ladders? I think we've
This is
kind
kinda
of
like
mentioned
a-
this before.
It's kind of like a state of the meta type question.
Well, it's kind of like a loaded question, too, because we can't tell you what to play. We
Well,
can't
so
tell
he
you what he's
mentions-
good at.
He plays ADC, and then that... Damn, I almost made a bad pun there. I'm glad I avoided it. Whew. So in that regard...
Damn it, you should have used it.
It's kind of... I don't think there's any one ADC that's really dominant in solo queue right now.
Apparently,
Mordekaiser.
Vayne.
Yeah,
Go listen
Unless
to
you
the
got
last
Mordekaiser,
Champion
sure.
Select podcast. Apparently, legitimately in Masters and Challenger, if Mordekaiser is not banned, then he's picked, especially if you're on blue side.
I always forget about him because he's always perma-banned.
Right.
But yeah, he would be the one.
He's crazy.
I think the other ones that are strong right now are all
Callista's really strong.
the mechanically difficult ones. Callista, Vayne, and Draven is always strong.
Yeah.
I see a lot of Tristana, too, right
I'm-
now.
I'm-
Tristana has been around a lot. She's,
I think Tristana and Jinx are kind of like on that second tier, just because there's so many bruisers going around right now. You kind of need that late game auto attack focused marksman.
you just have to get Triss pretty farmed up, and then she can do some work later. Jinx is just, if you can gank her early, then she has a hard time getting off. She's always had that problem, but now with all the bruisers, that if you don't get her really fed and then the bruisers get onto her late game, then you're kind of screwed.
That's the risk I always had. That's the problem I always have at solo queue is you never know who's going to gank the lane.
Right.
Could be your jungler that comes down and ganks for you, and then you're playing Jinx and you get ahead. And like you said, it could be the enemy jungler that shuts you down. So, and it's always a risk when you play a champion like that.
If it's anything like the games I had today, junglers do not have dragon control and do not know when to gank. I had a Nocturne at 39 minutes not finish his Sated Devourer.
Oh goodness!
But he never ganked either. How does that happen? Anyway.
And we will continue Ponophobia Assault episode 2 next week.
No, Wednesday, as I continue to play this entire week, because I have the entire week off. I'm either dropping to Gold 1 or I'm making it to Diamond 5. One of these two is happening by the end of the week.
Hey,
You're
if
gonna
you
become the
drop the
overseer
gold
of the salt
one,
mines.
yeah, if you drop the gold one, you can take my former title as the king of gold one.
I'd probably Alt F4 and never play again if that happened.
I don't believe that for a second.
Now what's going on?
Sorry. No, there's someone else down here. Hi, somebody else down here.
Who is it?
It's Mary. Wait, let's ask her.
Hey.
Mary, was there a meltdown? Wait, they can't hear you. We're doing a podcast right now. You got to talk.
She ran into a door.
Did you hear that?
Yep, she ran into a door.
The little girl ran into a door.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to continue doing the podcast now.
it's Travesty.
Of course, Adam's laughing at somebody else's misfortune.
A child.
A
Small
child's
misfortune.
How does a
What is she,
5-year-old
like,
run into a
6?
door?
Oh,
Yeah.
5.5.
No, she's 6. She's 6 in like
Oh, okay.
20 days or something like that. Yeah. All right, let's move on. I'm distracted. Today's an episode. I'm sorry. I apologize. I will take full blame.
You're
for
still
today's
trying
episode.
to recoup from the weekend.
Very much so. I'm going to go and pass out tonight after we're done playing games after the podcast. Case writes in, hey guys, I have a two-part question based off the game I just played as Jinx. Firstly, I was playing with a support Malphite and the rest of my team were all champs that wanted to dive the back line. Every team fight, the Malph would ult to engage and everyone would follow up, and every fight, the other team's Hecarim would charge and kill me 1v1 while my team easily defeated the other members. I didn't hate having no peel since we were winning, but I want to know how to act in those circumstances. Is it a WoW style where I should run to the tank?
Yes. Stay with your team if they're diving. It's really tempting to back up, to kite the person that's advancing on you. But then you isolate yourself, and that 1v1 Hecarim is going to be completely forgotten about by the rest of your team.
And if
they're going to kill everyone in the enemy team, and then look around and go, hey, where'd Jinx go?
And if anybody had the ability to peel for you at all, you're not with that person.
Yeah, if you stick with your team and Hecarim's targeting you, the rest of your team can't ignore that. Because, he's in there with the rest of them, so he's also going to be a threat. So they're going to target him as well. You're probably going to die because you're the squishiest target and he's gunning right for you. But you can contribute more to the team fight yourself because you're following your team up, and you can also help with the engage. And Hecarim's going to die more quickly as well. And and ideally, someone would peel for you and you will survive.
At least you get some DPS off before you die.
Right.
If you're winning, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. It was kind of like the same question we had a couple episodes ago about team fight positioning as an AD carry, and how you are probably not the AD. You're probably not double lift, and you're probably not going to carry through the team fight unless it's a lot of people who play this game can't carry with minimal items. They have to get to that 6 item build before they're able to carry because they're shredding tanks. So just one, obviously you've accepted that you're okay with it because you weren't carrying that game and your team was. But two, I think you made it right.
Lower your expectations.
Lower your expectations is what I'm going for.
Yeah, this is no longer season 2 AD carry, where you were the god of all. And it's an ADC, you just have a lot less power than you used to, much to the chagrin of many people.
Yeah, that
where people might actually try to protect you.
Yeah, it used to be a thing where if you didn't peel for your ADC, you could not win because the enemy AD carry would tear your team apart. But now there are so many sources of damage. There are so many the mobility creep is huge. They can get onto the backline carries and things like that. You just have to acknowledge that the game's a lot different than it was. So if you're going based off of what was happening a few years ago, you kind of adjust your expectations, like Punch said, lower them a little.
Or just play Draven, and then you are the front line because you're the one starting the team fights. Because you are Draven.
And then you don't have to worry about getting ganked either, because you just go balls to the wall all the time, and if you get ganked, oh well.
When you're two-shotting people, it doesn't matter if you're getting chased down, because you're Draven.
As long as you cash in those stacks, it's worth, man.
Yeah,
cash
right?
Stacks.
Just cash in the big stacks.
Spoken like a true Draven player.
He also wanted to know that since he was being dove by 2 guys every fight, he wanted to know that we're stacking a ton of armor, what he should be building. He built IE Shiv Last Whisperer. So should he have built something differently? Should he have prioritized Last Whisper earlier, etc.?
You can prioritize Last Whisper by getting the Last Whisper after a Zeal, and then finish your Civ after the Last Whisper, but that's only if you really fall behind. Your best bet to deal with high armor is to get ahead. And it doesn't sound like you have that option in this game. That's really the only way to go, because you want to stay ahead of the damage curve. That's the race between tanks and marksmen. Is tanks are stacking the armor, marksmen are stacking the damage, so whoever gets ahead first is going to end up winning the team fights.
And the other reason you want to get ahead is because you can get Bloodthirster eventually, and that helps you stay alive long enough to, eat through them. Because it takes a while. It takes a while to eat through them, and all tanks and all bruisers have damage now, so they're going to be chunking away at you while you do it. So having that Bloodthirster later helps too.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so I hope you
farm well, practice CS, get ahead, and you're good.
Play Draven.
All of those things are true.
Yeezy, he wrote in. I think we answered one of his questions because this question continues with, that being said, I think it's easy for Leona players at lower elos to be focused on engaging rather than peel. Can you give any advice to the beautiful Leona players out there on how to find a middle ground between starting fights and peeling?
Hey, Days. What do you do if you're Leona? Welcome back to the show. Get right in there, girl.
It's a weird question because this doesn't help you at all unless you're gonna like cut out an audio bite and hand it to your supports every game. You kind of have to learn to like work around them, whatever they're doing. So if they're diving, you need to know how to work with them. If they're peeling, you need to know, and that sort of thing. The biggest thing we've talked about in terms of peel versus engage is you need to be aware of who has what built, what if the enemy team is ahead of you or AD carry, like who has more damage, who has more survivability, things like that. Because there are going to be times where you're going to want to dive really hard to the back line and shut down their Jinx that has no escape and has 12 kills, and that's going to be way more important than, keeping your Ezreal with 2 kills alive. I'm sure that sucks for AD carries, but Punch can attest to it, that sometimes it's way more beneficial for you to shut down their team than for yours.
Yeah. If I'm worthless, just leave me.
Right. I mean, and it sucks. Nobody wants to hear that, but it really is. If you are having trouble peeling, even as Leona, like getting a Mikhail's is a great thing. You can help that way. Or you can engage with your ult. Like if you see 4 people and you want to engage with your ult, you can engage and then you can fall back and peel. So just because you commit to one type doesn't mean that you can't do the other. Or you can start by peeling for your AD carry, and if their enemy ADC gets out of line or gets out of position, then you can jump in. It's a lot of decisions. You have to be aware. But if you notice that their AD carry is like 12-0 and your AD carry is like 2-4, then maybe give them a heads up and be like, hey, I'm going to jump on Vayne to shut her down so that you can take out everyone else, and make it like a positive thing, and that might help AD carries feel a little bit better about what you're doing so they don't feel left out. I think we did a whole episode on engage versus peel. It's a really complex question in terms of it's very situational based on what's going on and things like that. But
we talked about a couple episodes ago when we had talked about what should I do as an AD carry, and what should I tell my buddies. I think we came up. I think our advice at the end of it was it's too complex of a question to answer because there's too many variables to think of, and then we listed out all the variables and listed out all the ways that you could, as a support, affect the team fight. And I think Punch pretty much just said the same thing. If I'm worthless, leave me alone and go use your Braum ultimate on the enemy team rather than that guy who's diving me down.
And this is going to sound a little harsh, and I don't mean it to be, but it says especially at low elos that people can be focused on engaging rather than peeling. Honestly, at low elos, if you know how to engage really well as a support or as a tank or whatever, you're going to win a lot of games.
I'd argue you'd win more games.
You would win more games just because, and not, again, this isn't meant to be as harsh as it's going to sound, but if your engages are good and you can get your team in there, that's way more reliable than whether or not your ADC is going to put out the damage. So as an ADC, I would advise you to kind of learn to peel for yourself, or to, learn your positioning and stand where you need to. Take all the advice that Punch has given you. But I wouldn't at all. If my support is making good engages, especially at low elos, I wouldn't try to discourage them from that at all.
Yeah, especially when there's an Olaf, just let him go.
That.
Just let him go.
Right.
If you're playing Bard and there's an Olaf, just let him go too.
Yeah, just dive the back line.
Just
That's what Bard's good at, is diving the back line.
He's almost as good at diving the back line as Olaf, right?
Yeah, really? I can make it in there.
Bard is better.
No.
Yeah, I think he's even better than
No.
I love that Twitter argument. And Adam, you were just like, I couldn't have stopped him. I don't care.
That was the point.
I wasn't feeling an Olaf. Shut up.
What do you want me to do? I will drop you a heal, and that's all you're getting, because I can't peel at Olaf, so good luck.
Drop you a heal. The one that takes like 5 seconds to rev up to where it needs to be.
He gets a speed boost.
I just didn't want to die alone.
You hold my hand.
Unloved.
Next time I will alt us both so we can stand there and
that's
gaze
good,
at
yeah.
each other in a golden hue before we both die.
Let us stare into each other's eyes as Olaf waits.
Spinning his axes. All right, go ahead. What? When Olaf goes into Berserker Rage, he stands there and he spins his axes like this, but you can't really see it. He like leans forward and anyway. Colin, he writes in, "Hi T-Force crew, thanks to listening to your podcast. I have climbed from Bronze 3 to Bronze 1, and I am very close to Silver promos. Hopefully you made it in, Colin. Or at least made it to Silver. I hope you did. My game is better than ever before. Right, yeah, usually people send them in. It takes about a month to get to them, sadly. I like to practice new champs and build in normals several times before doing ranked, and as a jungle main that involves experimenting with many off-meta picks and build paths. A few weeks ago, I fell in love with AD. Oh, we talked about this, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we did this one.
No, this is it. That's done.
Back when Horse is on, and he actually, because he played TF, he played TF jungle.
Well,
he played a lot of TF mid, and I think he did jungle too, and he commented on this.
Done. That empties
Right.
the dock. That's it. That's
So
a wrap
send
for
us
the
more
doc.
questions, and we'll
Yeah,
get
we
back to
need
you
more
soon.
questions, please.
We need a lot more, actually. Or you can send us like topics for the show if you have things that you're wondering about. November 11th is the end, right, of the season? People are
Yeah, I
someone
forgot to
asked about
explain
that.
Yep.
So November 11th, guys, if you're trying to get your stuff. And then usually it takes them a while. It takes them about a month to hand out rewards, right, after the season ends.
Yeah, the season. Yeah, it takes about a month, and then there's about 3 months of lull because I don't think the new season will start till the new year.
Then there's 3 months
Yeah.
of time that ranked doesn't count, but it does.
Yeah,
It counts half as much as it did before.
Right.
So it
So,
gets
like-
really trollsy. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's my favorite time of the year because you see stuff that you wouldn't see otherwise.
Yeah, and everyone's experimenting with like new builds and stuff. Maybe they'll work on AD itemization this year, Punch.
no, they're doing an AD rework. They're doing an AD
Ooh.
champions.
I don't know if it's as strong as that. They said they're going to make a pass on all the champions, and
Well, it's gonna be.
I think,
It's
I think
gonna
that
be
means
like-
tweaks.
No, it's supposed to be like the Juggernaut thing. That's
Really?
from what I've read. It's supposed to be. It's supposed
But
to be
this
to that
is-
scale of the Juggernauts.
This is also the same year that they changed up all of the AD itemization too. So like
that was last year. This year's
last year, it was this into the very start of this year. That was like
No.
the
that-
end of
no,
last
No,
year,
it was
right?
a couple years ago because they did.
God, I've been doing
Marines,
this
they
too
did
long.
Static. It was a couple years ago.
This year was
that.
defense,
jungle- the
and
jungle
AP, and the jungle rework.
Yeah.
And
Right.
last
Yeah,
year
and then they
again.
decided to start preseason in like July. That's what this year was.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. Because this year was Smite'ems, the new camps. That's what started the season, and then near the end of the season was core defensive item reworks and AP item reworks. Now we're moving into an AD item reworks with season 4.
End of season 4.
End of season 4 or beginning of, and now they did Juggernauts, and now they are passing over. They're going to be passing over 80 carries or marksmen. So
Can't wait.
If I don't have proof of that. I know I read somewhere that I think it's going to be on the scale of Juggernauts, which is kind of just a balance tweak. But who knows if they're going to change? They're going to
I
do some
wouldn't be
crazy stuff with
surprised
it.
if they introduce another Mordekaiser type champion.
They already said
Since
they
they
would.
said
Right?
they want to do that, so they might look at champions not played as much right now and just
Poppy.
shoehorn them into the ADC. role.
Poppy.
Poppy. That would surprise the hell
Hey,
out of me.
that's Poppy's. Look at that. Are we gonna predict that the Poppy rework sends her to the bot lane?
Yes.
Since it's taken them this long and they've said they want to do it.
do like
Is this
Poppy.
some Riot Illuminati stuff going on? Because I feel like a bet needs to be made.
Yes, that's my prediction. I think Poppy during the Poppy rework, she will be made to be a duo laner.
I think they're going to work on the ranked team builder as well. I think that's a preseason thing they're trying to roll out.
I'm looking forward to
Arguably
that.
the biggest like
I'm not looking
mode
forward to
change
that.
play ever.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be cool. I don't think we have any announcements this week other than go check out TrinityForceNetwork.com.
Yeah.
The website rollout.
And give us feedback on any questions you have for us for the proper, send them to us, and any feedback you have on the Champ Select podcast. We're doing Soraka, which we record on Friday, and will be released to you guys next week.
Adam will be waiting with bated breath to hear about his favorite goat lady in the bot lane.
Oh yeah, Soraka. Yeah. I haven't listened to Kelly Kaiser.
Do you flash star call people? Is that like?
No, I've never flashed star call anyone. I mean, I may have what they're like. I knew I was going to kill them with it, but
I've never done something that I'm considering right now and that I might have done.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
I'm really bad with using her E properly, which is arguably the biggest part of her kit outside the heal, because it's the silence and root, and you need to land that like perfectly to alternate a team fight. So I'm really bad about using that properly, because I'll try to use it for a root instead of the silence a lot, and then it doesn't get root, and then I just it's sometimes
So you
sometimes
like
it's a
root the
shit show.
Malphite instead of like the Azir or the Veigar standing right there.
Correct, exactly. Like I don't silence the Veigar who could be dropping his W, and then I bitch when I'm like I remember I was Rek'Sai today and I got the W or the E landed on me, and I'm like, I can't unburrow. Why can't I unburrow?
Wait. You were playing Rexar today?
Rek'Sai, yeah, I won a jungle game as Rek'Sai.
In ranked?
Yeah.
You shouldn't play Rek'Sai.
Rek'Sai's not hard. Rek'Sai's not
No,
even that hard to play.
You should still pick somebody easier.
Rek'Sai's not even that hard to play.
I can't believe you won.
I can. I won. I win. I mean, I haven't looked at my stats, but like I'd probably have the last 3 Rek'Sai games. I think I've won every one in ranked that I've played if I had the jungle.
All right, it's official. Rek'Sai OP.
Yeah. If it can carry
can't be a
Adam, it can
skill
carry
thing.
anybody, right?
It's just because you can do crazy gank opportunities with her E that makes it so much better. But I haven't looked. I'm just guessing. And when I say 3, that's probably 3 over like 2 months. I really don't play Rek'Sai all that often.
I can check for you.
can
I'm already halfway there.
Cheer is like, no, I'm calling this shit out.
You have a 43% win rate with Rek'Sai.
I have to look her up. Can I add a champion to this? Oh, there's Rek'Sai.
No, your KDA is pretty good. You're 4-1. So
Yeah, 43. I don't care
Yeah,
about
but
the 43%.
maybe you're
win rate.
not being aggressive enough. Maybe you're not.
I mean, I have 100% win rate with 100% win rate with Ashe. At 1-0. What are we saying here?
that means nothing to me. Your highest win rate champion is still Maokai.
Oh, my Maokai's beast.
Sweet
I got a
Maokai.
59% win rate with Soraka. You know she's
Yeah, you're
OP
doing
win.
great with Soraka. You have a decent amount of games played with her too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that episode too, because I want to learn Soraka, but I'm doing something terribly wrong whenever I play her.
I started.
I
Well,
think
I
I throw
try
too
to
many
front lane
bananas.
her. So I'm so used
Yeah,
to
you
like
can't.
Sona where you have to ult, like you have to kind of be in the front line to ult with her. So or like poke in lane and things. So and Sona, you want to take as much damage as your AD does because you heal both at the same time. And Soraka, that is the worst possible idea.
Yeah,
in the entire
I
world.
think that's my problem.
You have to mitigate as much damage as possibly can because your health is your mana, essentially.
Right, exactly.
And
But
you
I
have
want to
and-
banana
Yeah.
them.
And okay, I'm not Soraka main, but I will say from playing this many Soraka games, I have learned that the banana auto attacks are pretty much worthless. Like they're pretty great
No.
just to make people
No.
kind of go, "Oh, I'm being hit," but it's better to use the Q to freak people out than it is to use your auto attacks, and that is
Yeah,
where
you
you're
just-
laying down when it's
or
coming
Banana
you
from.
can-
bonus
if you
damage.
queue a little bit behind them, then they walk into you, and then you can banana them, and they'll walk back into the queue.
Right.
That's pretty fun. But or I'll
Those next level
use Q.
Soraka plays.
You have to do shit like that.
I will use Q when I'm full health because I'm so used to just harassing with spells from playing Sona all the time. That Dave was like, I don't think you're supposed to use that if you're full health right now. Like,
If
I
you
don't
ma-
think you're getting anything out of that.
When you make it past like level 5, it's pretty much worthless to use Q unless you want
Right.
life back. Yeah, I used to do that too when I first started. I'm like, I'm queuing, and then I'm out of mana.
They have like no health gone at all, and you're like, it's a mental thing because they see you getting health. They don't realize you're full.
Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna go.
I'm
with.
really interested. I want to hear the Soraka guy now because I want to hear if like he's got ways for me to get. He's obviously got ways for me to get better with Soraka, but I want to see if there's like something I'm doing that he's like, you should not do that ever. Like throw bananas.
Right. He said,
Flash
I was
Q?
talking to him. I actually had to stop because I was kind of doing like my own private episode with him where I was like, what do I do now? What is this? And he said it's really like she's actually more complex than people realize. It's not like the old Soraka where you just like cued everyone in the face all the time. And it's very situational. So how she's played changes a lot in lane depending on like who you're with and who you're against and things like that. So it should be a good episode.
I want see. You need to make sure you ask him what kind of runes he runs and when he picks his runes because I have 2 sets of pages. I have one with gold per 5 on it that I will run the majority of the time over armor because the lane is so passive.
Yeah, I've seen people doing that on like Janna's and Soraka's or any lane that you know it's just going to be a farm lane and you're not going to be able to get kills. I mean, Soraka, you pretty much know it's going to be hard to get kills in the lane.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible unless there's a gank. And you land your E perfectly and properly.
Unless the enemy does something tragically wrong.
Like stands in your E.
Yeah, like just does some weird
What is the purple circle for?
Wow. I think that's it. I think that wraps up episode 299. 300 isn't going to be like a shit show or anything. We had kind of talked about it being one, but instead of it being a shit show and crazy and fun and like this milestone, you guys helped us facilitate an extra episode this week with the 0.5 episode that we're going to bring to you. I don't know what day it's going to come out. It's either going to come out tomorrow. It might come out on Thursday. I don't know. It's going to come out this week, though. You're going to have episode 299.5. And we're going to try to do... I think we're going to try to do some more of those as we go forward, maybe once or twice a month. Maybe. Don't hold me to anything. Cheer and I had talked today about a really cool idea of bringing all of the parents on to one podcast, just have an episode to talk about playing video games as
how to deal with your hobby while still having important responsibilities.
Right. And I think we might start doing more of those, like maybe once a month or something. But it's kind of like you guys putting money into Patreon has facilitated us, or it's facilitated the that's facilitated not the right word, but has allowed us to be able to bring you extra content because of that. So thank you for believing us in doing that. And if you would like to, it's not too late now. It's too late for your money to be taken out until November 1st. But if you'd like to go and sign up for any of that, patreon.com/TForce Network.
And I believe that if they do it, like if you really, really want like either the coaching or the replays, not the replays, the Champion Select podcast, if they send you a donation for the $10 or whatever, you'll give them that month's, right? And then they can sign up for next month.
Yep.
So if you don't have to wait all the way to November, if you're looking at like, oh, damn, I just started playing Calista, I wish I signed up. Like, you can still go back and get them.
Just email me. Just feedback@TrinityForcePodcast.com. Say, I heard about episode 299. You said if I send you $10, you send me everything as if I had signed up, and I will. Yeah, we'll take care of you. I'm not going to turn away your money and not give you a product because that would be an asshole of me.
And we all know Adam is never an asshole.
Not once in my entire life. All right, guys, that's episode 299 of the Trinity Force podcast. We'll see you guys for episode 299.5. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.